If you couldn't tell from behind me, today I'm going to show you guys the best mods to use for altar automation. And I'm sorry for you immersive engineering enthusiasts out there. I will not be using immersive engineering. Now, first of all, we are going to be going over the criteria in which we're going to rate all of these setups. First is speed, because speed matters, obviously, when you get to the 20,000, 40,000 item range. Affordability, that's pretty important. Build simplicity, how easy is it going to be to build? And scalability, how easy will it be to just scale it up whenever you need it to be even faster? And on the other side, we have qualifiers. So all of these setups will be filterless, not use any conveyors, and drawers will be required for just about all of them except for QIO. So first up is going to be the speed test. And these are our runners. We have Pretty Pipes, XNet, Refined Storage, Mekanism Pipes, Applied Energistics, and Mekanism QIO. Now, I should go ahead and let you know that this speed test is based on one single cable doing all of the extracting and importing into the altar. Quick pause. Now, leave a comment down below what you think each mod is going to place. First through 6th place. List them all out and don't cheat. And while you're doing that, you can call me Zoofy Zuffy Zoofy or Zoof, and this is Zoofology. And let's start it. XNet first, followed by Mekanism QIO, then Refined Storage, immediately after Applied Energistics, and then we have our slowpokes, Mekanism Pipes, and Pretty Pipes. They're both very slow, per pipe obviously. Yep, that leaves Mekanism Pipes in dead last. Now, I don't know about you, but I found those results quite shocking. Next part of the video, I'm going to be showing you how to automate the altar to where you can put the crystal automatically in it. And then I'm going to go into each mod, how you actually set up each mod. Now, a lot of people don't know how to use Refined Storage and Applied Energistics without a whole bunch of exporters and a whole bunch of filters. I'm going to show you how to use both of those mods without any filters. Let's make sure that we have the altar automated to put rocks into it. So I'm going to have an item router on top of it and a security module assigned to me, a puller module pulling from wherever my rocks are, and an activator module activating down into it. I'm going to put all of these in, and now it's activating down using my recipes. And because I don't like the look of it, I'm actually going to place a frame carpet, apply any block to it, and then apply a camouflage module to it. And now I have a paper thin router. So last thing to do is to, of course, have an interval signal timer, which is a free mod, and just turn it on. Now to pipe into the altar using Mekanism, you'll start off with a drawer controller slave. Against this, you'll put a ultimate logistical transporter. And now notice the cost of this. It does cost 2 player gems, but you can bypass that by instead crafting these elite logistical transporters. And if you have 8 of them in a row, you can apply an atomic alloy, which also does not cost any vault gems. Apply it to it and it will upgrade a full 8. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and work on stacking this. And then I'll put some pipes against the top as well. And now I'll just put my vault altars against both pipes. And lastly, you'll just need to set all of these to pull mode. As for the stackability rating, it's going to be not that high just because it's reliant on the size of the drawer network, and it also has items that are rendered by the player that pipe through the pipes. The more pipes, the more items, the more FPS drop. Now for pretty pipes, it's a very similar setup. The cables will be connected to the drawer controller slaves. You'll need a pretty pipes wrench to disconnect all of the cables horizontally. You're going to need the high extraction module. And you'll also need some high speed increase modules. And then of course apply them to all the cables. And here we need to extend the cables one more before they're able to pipe into the altar. And just like before, disconnect all of the cables horizontally. And now connected to that second cable, place all of your altars. That's it. Now build simplicity is pretty high. However, stackability, it has the same drawbacks as Mekanism. For refined storage, we are going to need a separate controller than our main system, and make sure it's powered. Place an importer against our controller slave, and place an external storage against the vault altar. Then just use some cables to connect them up. Now it's slow for now, so we'll add 1 stack upgrade and 3 speed upgrades into this importer. And to stack it, you just do the same thing, but you only ever need 1 external storage on 1 altar. Due to the nature of the stack upgrades, you are going to need to have a few importers that don't have stack upgrades. And that's so that your altar will be completed once it has less than a stack of items left. For applied Energistics, you're going to start by powering an energy acceptor. And we're using the energy acceptor over the controller because it's much cheaper. And now we're going to place an importer on our drawer controller slave, and we'll place a storage bus on our altar. And then we'll just use some cables to connect the two up. This is now working, but we will want to speed it up with some acceleration cards. Now for stacking this. Start by placing an energy acceptor and making sure it's powered. Place 2 cables above that energy acceptor, a quartz fiber above that. Now this quartz fiber cable will not allow any data to transfer between the 2 networks, but it will allow power. For this next part, you will need 7 import buses and 1 storage bus per 2 cables. Now fill every import bus with acceleration cards. You'll place a drawer controller slave against each import bus and a vault altar against each storage bus. And now just connect all of the bottom up with some trim. For build simplicity, I'm giving this a 3. And that's because for many people, dealing with channels can be kind of intimidating. Now for scalability, I'm going to give this a 4. Because you will have to deal with the size of the drawer network. However, because of the way we're kind of getting unlimited channels, it's infinitely scalable to the size of the network. Now for XNet, we're going to start by getting some power and powering a controller. From this point, we can just go ahead and line a bunch of connectors against that controller. And now just wrap those connectors in drawer controller slaves. And at the very end of your connectors, place a vault altar. At this point, enter your XNet controller. Select channel 1, change the channel type to xnet.item. Now create. Select the first connection and create. Change the extract mode from INS to EXT for extract. Change single to stack. And right-click 10 to make it 5. And now to save some time, you can copy this connection and paste it to every other connection. So you get to the vault altar connection, just create a connection and leave it on insert. And now the only thing remaining is to use some trim to connect everything else up. For build simplicity, I give this a 4, and that's because XNet can be quite intimidating to some people. However, it's actually quite easy to do. Now I'm going to show you Mekanism QIO based on the assumption you already have a drive inside a drive array, and that all of your items for the altar are in that drive array. Now, it is as simple as placing an exporter against a vault altar. And of course, to set this on the right frequency, you just come in here and you select your base and set. And of course, you would want to set each one of these up with speed upgrades from Mekanism, which don't cost any vault items. Now, I have heard it said that if you actually set a filter for the exporter, it can export faster. From my testing, I have not found this to be the case, but if you've found otherwise, please post that in the comments because I'm quite interested in knowing that. And now we've got our price breakdown based on how much each cable can actually transfer, and then how much does it cost per 1,000 items a second, while also factoring in the startup costs. Now, for the cost of Pretty Pipes, I put it at 4 stars. For Mekanism, I put it at a solid 5 stars, because it costs only the cost of the drawer controller slaves, that is. AE2, I'm gonna put that one at 3 stars, because it does cost initially some echo, and it costs a good bit of Larimar and Benny per 1,000 items. Refined storage, I'm gonna put at 2 stars, because it costs a good bit of echo to start up, and it costs echo for each 1,000 items you want to pipe into the altar. QIO, I'm going to put at, well, 1 star. Mainly because it takes a lot to get into QIO to begin with, and it's 3 echo per 1,000, which is the same as refined storage, but it also costs a little bit of opal per 1,000, but again, it costs a lot to get into QIO. And XNet, it only costs half an opal, half a alexandrite, and half a woot die to do each 1,000, with of course 8 Benny for the controller slaves. Now, it will cost some power and a little bit to start up, but I'm gonna put it the same as Pretty Pipes at 4 stars. And the final ratings are in. XNet with 4.25 in first place, QIO with 3.75 second place, and then we have a 3-way tie for third place. With 3.25 stars, we have Applied Energistics, Refined Storage, and Mekanism Logistics. And in last place, we have Pretty Pipes. And that brings this experiment to an end. I did my best to include statistics about each mod that can be useful in this season and every season to come. These should also be useful in other mod packs. Now, obviously the stats that aren't going to help much are the cost, because next season the costs are going to be completely different. We might not even have some of these mods, Pretty Pipes. And at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that this video helped at least one of you with at least one of these mods. And if it did help you, then by all means, leave a comment and I'll be sure to respond. Anyways, that's it for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.